everyone, and welcome to Good Morning KU. I'm Brianna.
And my name is Erin.
And it's your first time hosting with us.
It is my first time hosting. I'm
How
a little
do you feel?
nervous.
Nervous?
Nervous,
Excited,
yes.
though?
Pretty excited.
Good. But I just have to mention this before we start anything because I think it's the coolest thing in the world. You are used to being in front of the camera, though, because you are famous on Vine.
I guess you could say that.
Don't be modest. You are famous on Vine. You told me that you have almost 100,000 followers.
Yes, I'm at almost 96,000, so I should be at 100,000 pretty much before the semester ends.
Wow. Okay, so how many new followers do you get, like, say, every week?
It honestly really depends. Like, it depends on how many posts I make per week. And like how much engagements those posts get. And if I get a lot of engagement on a post, generally I'm gonna gain more followers from them. Like over spring break, I didn't really gain a lot because I didn't really make that many Vines because I was on spring break.
Right. No, you wanted to relax. I get it.
Yeah.
So like, what kind of things do you normally post about? Just what?
I pretty much post anything that I want. Everything from like comedy to talking about like a current event. I mean, it's pretty open-ended. I do whatever I want on there, honestly.
Yeah. How did this all get started? How did you just downloaded the app and just decided?
Honestly, when Vine came out, I thought it was like, oh, this sounds so cool, and I downloaded it for fun. And then I didn't really used to make videos on it. I just watched other people's videos.
Right.
And
that's what I do.
Yeah. And I'm a freshman here, but like when I was a senior in high school, I started making them like continuously, and then I started gaining followers. And like I remember like coming home from school and being like, oh my gosh, I have 1,000 followers, what just happened? That's the point where you pass where like strangers are watching your content, and then it just grew and grew, and I gained like a ton all at once at one point, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so crazy. And yeah, so I've been pretty much making them steadily since my senior year of high school.
I think that's awesome. I have the app Vine. Sorry, I can't talk today. But I just like go through like the popular ones and just watch those and like revine if I think they're funny. I've maybe made 2 since I've had the app, and they got like 1 like, so I just gave up.
Everybody starts somewhere. I mean,
maybe.
My old Vines, they are.
Do you go back and do like Throwback Thursdays and be like, what was I thinking?
I like sometimes there's like Throwback Vine tag where you upload like an old Vine that used to be really popular, and I have done that before, and it's always funny because I also used to have, my hair's in a bun right now, but I used to have my hair super duper ultra short.
Yeah.
And like I just would watch the Vines and I'm like, oh my god, it was only a year ago, but I look so different.
Yeah, just cringe a little bit.
Like slightly. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I posted that.
I can understand that. But since she's almost at 100,000 followers, you guys need to go and find her. Is it just Erin Brock?
It's actually not Erin Brock. My username on Vine is Idiot Babe, 2 words, and it's lowercase.
Okay.
Yes.
So make sure you go and do that and get her up there to 100,000. But kind of switching topics just a little bit. This is our first Friday show since we've been back from spring break. Did you do anything fun over the break, or just?
I actually did do something fun over break. I went with my family down to Jupiter, Florida.
Oh, very nice.
Jupiter, Florida is like outside of West Palm Beach, and it's where the Cardinals spring train. But I went to visit some other family, and it was really, really nice.
Nice. How's the weather down there?
Oh my gosh, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, this picture is my last day, and there's some clouds in the background, but each day I was there, it was sunny in mid-80s.
Oh, that sounds gorgeous.
And I just was on the beach all day. It was perfect.
I'm actually from Virginia. Oh, wow. I'm actually from Virginia, so I just went back home and visited my family and stuff. And I'm pretty close to the coast. I'm like maybe 20 minutes from the beach, but it was, as you can see, I'm in my winter coat. It was cold and rainy for the majority of my break, so that wasn't what I was expecting and hoping. But yeah, this was me on a Starbucks date with one of my friends, so that was fun. Probably the highlight. This is Danny. She's our director for the show, and she did a lot of helping out with the baseball games and the coverage of that. So she kind of stayed in town and did that.
This is a funny picture.
This is Abby. She said she worked out a lot over her break, so this is her.
This is her at CrossFit, actually, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is her working out at CrossFit.
So good for her. I did not do much of that. This is Grace. She is next to the shirtless man in the black shorts, one of the shirtless men in the black shirts. She was with her dance company. And so she did that. And
down at Iowa State.
Yeah, down in Iowa State. And this is Katie, and she went to Costa Rica for a study abroad program for a week over the break. So she's ziplining and having fun. I know, I'm kind of jealous about that actually. And then this is Kelly, and she went to Chicago just for kicks because she can. And so she took a picture with the bean, and looks like everyone had a blast. Kind of jealous. This is TJ.
This is a perfect
doing
picture.
some yoga. TJ's actually talking about doing a yoga segment on the show one of these days, so we'll see if that
Sunrise
happens.
Good Morning KU yoga.
Yeah, Sunrise yoga on Good Morning KU. But yeah, so it looks like everyone had a lot of fun. But I think we're all happy to be back because I don't know about you guys, but I missed you guys when we were gone over the break.
It feels good to be back.
It does. Speaking of spring, we have March Madness coming up, and Ben Allen's here to talk about that.
Yes.
A lot of games going up. So I think that's kind of all the updates we have for you guys in this segment, but we will be right back with our guests from J School Ambassadors.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
And we are back with our guest, Alyssa Scott, who is the Vice President of J School Ambassadors. So first of all, thank you for coming and talking with us this morning. First of all, can you just explain to us what a J School Ambassador is and what they do?
Yeah, so J School Ambassador is just a student from the J School who will go and take prospective students and their parents from high school just around the school. We give tours, we go to junior days, sometimes we go to events in Wichita and KC, but we just kind of represent the journalism school and let them know what's going on.
Okay, and kind of like give them tours and show them around.
Give them tours, show them the facilities. Sometimes they get to meet teachers, sit in our classrooms. So
do you kind of take them like in Stafford Flint, or do you go to Dole? Like where?
We take them all through Stafford Flint, and then we take them down to Dole and show them the newsroom and all of that, and we bring them back up, and they get to see the classrooms and our resources and all of that.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
So who is eligible to be an ambassador?
So students in the J School who are in sophomore standing and who have above a 2.75 GPA are eligible.
Okay.
So that's what we're looking for.
Okay. How do they apply? Is it online, in person?
Yeah, well, we emailed out a link a couple weeks ago, I think, for the application. But if anyone's wanting to apply, you can also email jsapexec@gmail.com and we can send it to you. Okay. And then after that, we'll be doing phone call interviews.
Okay, great. So you obviously are an ambassador. How did you get involved in that?
So it was the end of my freshman year I decided to apply because all through high school I loved coming here and getting to meet all of our ambassadors, and I just thought it sounded like a great opportunity.
Okay. How long have you been an ambassador?
This is my second year.
Okay, so you are a junior?
Yes, I'm a junior.
Okay. What's just your favorite part about being an ambassador, would you say?
I just love getting to meet all the new high school students, and they're all so excited, and they have so many questions, and they just really want to get into college, and they're all really excited about journalism, so it's just fun to meet them.
Kind of just get to show off our J
Yeah,
School
get
just
to
a
show
little
off
bit.
the J School, yeah, because we have a great one, so it's nice to show it off.
Definitely. Yeah, well, thank you so much again for coming and talking with us.
Thank you for having me.
So keep a lookout for that email if you're interested in doing that, and we will be right back with our news segment.
Studious, courteous, community service oriented. These are just a few ways to describe Sigma Pi fraternity. But don't take my word for it. Let's ask the president himself. Oh, excuse me. I didn't hear you come in. I'm Ryan Brinker, founding father and president of Beta Delta chapter of Sigma Pi here at the University of Kansas. We're one of the fastest growing Greek communities here on campus, and now we want you to be a part of us too. For more information, go to kusigmapi.com.
Hi, I'm Abby Weaver. This is your Friday Good Morning KU News Update. Severe weather ripped through Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Oklahoma yesterday during the rush hour commute. One person was killed in Sand Springs, Oklahoma, a suburb of Tulsa located just to the northwest, when the storm struck a mobile home park along with several others injured. A confirmed extremely dangerous tornado was spotted near Sand Springs and moved east towards Tulsa at 45 miles per hour, according to the National Weather Service. That tornado warning included the downtown Tulsa area. Officials inspecting the Germanwings Flight 9525 plane crash found that the co-pilot intentionally crashed the plane into the French Alps on Tuesday. 28-year-old German national Andreas Lubitz took advantage of a moment in which the pilot left the cockpit and to activate the descent and lockout of the pilot. The crash killed all 150 people on board. Let's go to CNN for a more detailed report.
Co-pilot Andreas Lubitz crashed Germanwings Flight 9525 on purpose, according to French authorities. They say he locked himself in the cockpit and started the deadly descent.
The co-pilot, through deliberate abstention, refused to open the cockpit door to the chief pilot and used the button which controls loss of altitude.
A timeline suggests the first 21 minutes of the flight were routine. The two pilots exchanged what's been described as a normal conversation. Then the captain asked Lubitz to take over as he stepped out of the cockpit. That's when French prosecutors say Lubitz manipulated the flight controls.
Apparently he was breathing normally. He didn't say a word from the moment that the captain or chief pilot left the cockpit.
The cockpit voice recorder captured the final moments of the 150 people on board.
I reckon that the victims only became aware of what was going on at the very last moment, because on the tape, the sound that we're hearing, the screams are only in the very last moments before impact.
Investigators are digging into Lubitz's past. The 28-year-old pilot was a German national. His employer says he passed his yearly medical tests and he was 100% fit to fly.
We can only speculate about motives. We have no findings at all with regard to why the co-pilot did that.
All of this gives few answers to the families of Flight 9525. They gather at the base of a mountain, waiting to take their loved ones home. I'm Polo Sandoval reporting.
The former home of Adam Lanza, the gunman in the Sandy Hook Elementary School shootings, and his mother was bulldozed on Tuesday, according to CNN. Council members voted back in January to have the home demolished. The victims' families and neighbors were consulted by local officials and felt that this was the best way to honor those killed. City officials favored restrictions being placed on the deed that if the property were to be sold, the proceeds would go to the victims' families. Indiana Governor Mike Pence signed into law on Thursday a measure that would allow businesses to turn away gay and lesbian customers in the name of religious freedom. The bill sparked uproar among gamers and church groups that hold conventions in Indianapolis. Businesses are threatening to pull out of the city. Investigators in California determined the kidnapping of Denise Huskins in Sacramento was an orchestrated event and not a kidnapping. Huskins went missing on Monday morning, launching a large-scale search effort. She was found safe and sound in Southern California on Wednesday morning, but has not yet spoken with investigators. A bomb threat called into the courthouse where former New England Patriots player Aaron Hernandez's murder trial is being held temporarily halted proceedings on Thursday. Superior Court Judge Susan Garsh said the court was suspended while the building was evacuated. Carnival Films, the producers of the hit PBS show Downton Abbey, announced that Season 6 would be the series' final one. The PBS drama has become the most nominated non-U.S. show in Emmys history with 51 nominations and has earned 3 Golden Globes. January 2016 will be the debut for the final season on Masterpiece on PBS. We're going to take a quick break and then TJ will be here with the local news update.
Welcome back to Good Morning KU. I'm TJ Blake with your local news. The Kansas House of Representatives was the final step needed to pass a bill that would allow the Kansas residents to carry concealed firearms without a permit. The bill passed 85 to 39 on Wednesday and is now headed to Governor Sam Brownback's desk to be signed into law. According to the National Rifle Association, Kansas would be the 5th state to allow concealed carry without a permit. About 150 KU students were lucky enough to catch a free concert yesterday afternoon in Woodruff Auditorium. SUA live music coordinator Dustin Wolf tells us how KU was able to provide some live entertainment.
We've been looking at the Griswolds for a while. They played kind of in the area before. They played last year, I believe, in Kansas City. So some of the people who work for SUA were kind of excited about the opportunity to bring them whenever it became possible. And then we saw that they were going to be playing in the area tonight, and we said, well, we should try and grab them for a free show during the day for KU students. We've done that before here in the Union, and we thought it would be a cool thing to do with the Griswolds.
The KU students were able to attend yesterday's free concert by showing their student IDs at the door. SUA cut back on the publicity, but were pleased with the turnout. The Griswolds are an indie rock band from Australia and were in Lawrence as a warm-up band for Walk to the Moon at the Granada. Both the band and the students in Woodruff enjoyed an informal, acoustic set that included a lot of open conversation. The 22nd ranked Kansas softball team opens the Big 12 conference play this evening with 3-game weekend series against the Texas Longhorns in Arocha Ballpark at the Rock Chalk Park. The Friday game will begin at 5 p.m. Central Time and will be broadcast on the Jayhawk Television and ESPN3. Kansas Rowing takes on the Drake Bulldogs at 12 p.m. on Saturday at the Rowing Boathouse located along the Kansas River. In their last meeting at the Sunflower Showdown, Kansas beat Drake in the 2nd and 4th Varsity 8 final. Weather looks to be partly cloudy with a forecasted high of 59 degrees. Kansas baseball looks to put an end to its 3-game losing streak tonight at 6:30 p.m. in a matchup against the 18th ranked Red Raiders of Texas Tech. Viewers can watch the game on Fox College Sports or listen live on the Jayhawk Radio Network. And that's going to wrap it up for today's news update. After the break, Grace and Katie will be here with the weather.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back. We have Grace up on the roof with our weather for today and this weekend. Grace, what can we expect to see today?
I gotta be honest, it's a little colder than I expected. I woke up this morning and looked outside and I was like, oh, it looks like a beautiful day. And then I actually walked outside and it was kind of cold. So we have a high of 50 today, some wind, 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tomorrow actually is looking pretty much exactly the same as today, so kind of a chillier weekend. Sunday is going to be a little warmer. We have a high of 68, but once we hit Monday, we have like a high in the low 70s all day next week. So next week's going to be really nice, just a little bit colder this weekend.
Okay, so everybody make sure you bring your coat with you this week because you never know. Are we going to expect any rain this weekend or are we done for a little bit?
No rain this weekend. Next week, there's a couple days where we have like 80% chance of rain, but this weekend is just going to be sunny and partly cloudy, so.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Grace, and we will be right back with Ben Allen.
Yep.
What is up, my depressed March Madness people? I'm Ben Allen here with your Good Morning KU March Madness update. It has been a crazy tournament thus far with our Jayhawks, #1 Villanova, and other top teams like Virginia already out, and it's safe to say all of our brackets have been busted. Last night, though, we saw West Virginia get dismantled by the top-seeded Wildcats, and Roy Williams' Tar Heels get tragically knocked out after leading throughout most of the game. And Arizona and Wisconsin, well, they punched their Elite 8 cards. Obviously, I had a rough time just like the rest of many of you did with your predictions, Stephen F. Austin, and they fell flat. We are looking at the remaining teams that are in the Sweet 16 and those that have also moved into the Elite 8. With the 12 teams remaining, we now have a very much clearer picture than the last time you saw me of who might make it to the big game. Tonight, we see 8 more teams contend for the final 4 spots in the Elite 8. Let's take a look at them real quick. The team that no one thought should make the tournament, UCLA, is taking on the Gonzaga Bulldogs tonight, which should likely end their very unique run. Bryce Alford has been a very nice scorer for UCLA, but the size, athleticism, topped off with the great chemistry of Gonzaga is ultimately going to push them past UCLA. Also in the South region, Utah and Duke face off. Jahlil Okafor will be taking on the size of Utah, and not to mention their star point guard DeLon Wright. These teams on paper are pretty matched up evenly, but the difference maker is going to be Justice Winslow for Duke. With his contributions, they will be able to move past Utah. In the East, we have Oklahoma and Michigan State facing off, and I see the Spartans knocking out the final remaining Big 12 team under the excellent coaching of Tom Izzo. The final game tonight is NC State versus Louisville, and I have Montrezl Harrell helping the Cardinals power past the Wolfpack. With those added teams tonight, we will be looking at Kentucky, Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Arizona, Gonzaga, Duke, and Michigan State, not to mention Louisville in the Elite Eight. From there, I'm seeing Kentucky blowing through Notre Dame, Wisconsin, slipping by Arizona, and then Duke beating Gonzaga and Michigan State continuing their run against Louisville. Next week, I will give you the final picks, but I'll give you a small hint right now. It's probably going to have Kentucky in it. We all know that it is terribly upsetting to see the Jayhawks fall in the round of 32 for the second consecutive year, but there is hope for next season. When looking at the Jayhawks roster, there are many question marks, but there are also many things that fans don't have to worry about. As for players leaving, we can assume Kelly Oubre, good as gone. The projected lottery pick is going to be ending his career very short-lived. Cliff Alexander, on the other hand, may not be gone for sure. The once top projected pick is not expected to be a top 25 pick anymore. The bigger question is going to be whether the NCAA decides to ban him. If that does happen, we will have seen the last of Cliff, as he will not want to sit around for another year just to hope for a chance to play in the Jayhawk uniform once again. He is not allowed to play again. I think it's safe to say, though, Frank Mason, Perry Ellis, they should be returning once more, and Wayne Selden also will likely stay. Of course, at this point in time, you can never really assume how many players are considering transferring, but we do know one person that will not be, and that is Brennan Green. His father confirmed that he is a Jayhawk lifer and will return to the team. We now return to other possible departures like Landon Lucas, who may have a tough time finding minutes next year. As it stands, there are still about 7 of the top 10 ranked recruits unsigned. The Jayhawks currently have one commitment from a recruit, that being Carlton Bragg, who is widely considered a top 20 recruit. The athletic forward will be looking to contend for minutes next year with the other Kansas bigs. The other Kansas players that they are considering from the other guys is the 7-foot phenom Steven Zimmerman out of Nevada. The kid screams out Jeff Withey when you look at him, and his lanky frame would be an ideal Bill Self prospect. The Jayhawks will likely not push hard for another guard, as they will likely have Frank Mason, Devontae Graham, Wayne Selden, Svi, and Green all returning likely next year. March Madness will continue to roll on with the final 4 spots in the Elite 8 determined tonight. Tune in next week for the last time you'll be seeing of me, as I will be sending you into the championship game. When we return, we're going to have a fun game ahead. Stay tuned.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
And welcome back. Ben and I are here. We're going to play a little bit of Flip Cup this morning, but since we are a university program and I'm under 21 and it is only 10:30 in the morning, it's with water. But I think it'll still be.
What's the time part have to do with anything? Can we not drink before that time?
I mean, if you're gonna drink before
I'm ready
noon,
for the show.
Go for it.
We're ready.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we each have, there's water in all 6 of our cups, and we have to drink it and then flip it over, and whoever flips them over first wins bragging rights.
So I'm gonna win, basically, is what you're saying.
Probably.
All right.
Ready?
Well, you need to be enthusiastic about yourself.
I'm ready. Okay, ready?
All right. We need someone to count us down. Are you guys gonna start cheering? We're gonna get going.
Okay.
Keep cheering?
Okay. Ready?
All right.
3,
2, 1. Ooh. Oh, now we're gonna struggle here.
Ah, dang it.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
You guys can tell I play this so much.
Wow, really struggling here, people. Oh. It's about to be the longest segment on Good Morning KU's history.
Ah! Oh my gosh.
Who poured the water in these? There's way too much water in this.
I'm really gonna need to pee after this.
Why can't I? Oh, I actually flipped it that time.
You
and I
stop
had
that.
it.
You
I
stop
had it.
that.
There we go.
I need to practice my flip cup game. You know what?
This is terrible. There we go. One more, people.
Too much water.
We have our champion. It was me.
There you go. Congratulations, Ben.
She's really excited for me, as you can see.
Too much water.
Too much water.
Okay, that's going to do it for Good Morning KU today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Tune in next week, 10 a.m., and don't forget to follow us on Twitter.
It's a great
Thanks,
place to
everyone,
follow
and
us.
have a great day.